You're watching World Insight with me, Tian Wei. Still to come on the program. From local herdsman to internet big star almost overnight. Why and how Tamdrin became an online sensation after the break. Welcome back. You're watching World Insight with me, Tian. Bambi eyes and a bright smile sent 20-year-old Tibetan herdsman Tamdrin, locally known as Zheng, to the internet atmosphere after his pictures and video clips went viral. Foreign Ministry spokesperson even tweeted compliments about him, and Tamdrin-related topics have becoming more than 3 billion views on Weibo alone, that is a social media platform in China. He topped searches on Baidu and Douyin, the Chinese version of video sharing platform TikTok. The internet celebrity from Litan County, Sichuan province, has sparked a surge in interest in his hometown among tourists. Why has the young man from Sichuan captured so much attention in this country of 1.4 billion? Can his skyrocketing popularity indeed do wonders for tourism in his hometown? And what about his fate for the future? Let's loop in our panelists. For more on Tamdrin's phenomenon, both in Beijing, we have Zhang Jianping, Director General of the Center for Regional Cooperation with Chinese Academy of International Trade and Economic Cooperation, and who has been doing research about China's poverty alleviation, and also Teng Jimeng, a freelance cultural commentator, certainly a well-respected professor in cultural studies. Welcome to both of you. Do you like him? I mean, have you watched some of the videos?
I do like him. I like him a lot because of the innocence and also the purity, the hairdo, and also even his earrings, and also his rings on the finger. I love them all. I mean, all that kind of a derivative associated with a internet celebrity.
Right. What about for you, Mr. Zhang? Do you like that guy?
Let me tell you my first, impression on these guys. When I look at this young face, I just reckon, oh, maybe this is a new film star. But when I read his story and what happened within one night, I think that this is a new, cultural phenomenon created by online world. This young man has not only has smiling sunshine face and good looking. That's not enough for a famous happened within one night. I think that if you look at his style and his characters, someone said that oh, this is a smiling and sunny. Meanwhile, the most important, I think that wild style. That's on behalf of the local, culture, local style, and can, express some of different characters and different phenomena happen in China.
Well,
for today, I think that for those young people, they like diversified culture phenomena.
What do you make of this Tamdrin phenomenon? This lovely young guy, Tibetan origin, and make a big star overnight on China's internet because of his smile. And now we hear more about his hometown. Professor Teng.
Absolutely. This is a very sensational kind of news out there on the internet. And since the boy went viral out there, I mean, there is a huge kind of a euphoria and also celebration since it has been such a successful kind of a launching of a new guy. I mean, this is the new guy on the block. And so in this sense, I think the Tamdrin phenomenon has constituted a major kind of a scene out there, or a landscape out there that may contribute to another round of what they call the commercial hyping and also the creation of a new internet celebrity, be it a Tibetan youngster or a just young man in its prime.
Yeah. So he's a Tibetan herdsman. He has a white horse called Crystal, through his videos. And we also know that now he has been employed by his county, Litang County, which is a poverty-stricken county before February this year, as a so-called tourism ambassador. So he becomes a symbol of his county with this overnight fame. Some say it's becoming very commercial. Others say, why not? What do you make of that debate, Professor Tang?
I think it's a very interesting debate. It tells where we are and who we are in terms of this very internet age. I absolutely think it is the commercial hyping, but what is wrong with commercial hyping since we are living in a commercial society? And so in this sense, I applaud the rise of a new star in this very sense. And he's actually very much kind of proactive. Remember, he said in his video that he wanted to contribute to his hometown's tourism development. And in this case, I think it's the exercise of his personal will. And I'm glad to see that any individual in this very commercial society, in this very internet age, can exercise his own free will and develop this kind of heart for the public good.
Certainly has made his mark. If you look at some of the numbers here I got hold of on Ctrip's website, which of course is a big search engine about making trips domestic and international here in China, searches for Litang, where he's coming from, the county, started going up on November 20th. In the week of November 23rd through Sunday, the search average shot up to 620% compared with the previous week, and was 4 times greater than during the National Day holiday in October. Of course, we all know that was the best tourist season for any place here in China. But now it seems that that place is becoming much hotter than it used to be, thanks to this guy, this young Tibetan herdsman, Tamdrin. Having said that, though, Mr. Zhang, since you've been doing research about poverty alleviation for long, is this the way to go, to combine tourism for places where poverty is still a big issue? But on the other hand, can the localities be able to handle this kind of attention, the influx of tourists overnight, and also be able to maintain this balance between nature and their lifestyle, and with these tourists overnight?
Yeah, Tammy, you raised a very complicated issue.
Sorry for that. It's a loaded question.
Yeah. You know that actually, on one hand, today China is making so a lot of efforts to promote poverty alleviation. Also, we already have a very successful result. However, if you look at Litang, this type of places, I think poverty alleviation will be a long march. Especially they need to maintain how to keep their development in medium and long run. Tourism sector today in China is booming. You know that especially facing with COVID-19 and the pandemic and the global economic recession. You know that every year in the past, actually 100 million Chinese population, they need to travel in different places in the world. However, right now, all of those, they need to travel domestically. So that means for Litang, for Tibetan, for Sichuan province, especially for those poor regions, I think this is a very good time point for them to promote their tourism sectors.
Professor Tang, how do you see that? With such an influx of tourism, certainly it's a great opportunity for the localities, for Tamdrin, where he is from, Litang and other places in the region. But on the other hand, it could be a strain for them to work under pressure, huge pressure, shall we say, with this influx of tourists.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I think this is a very trickery mirror. I mean, if we consider the rise of this very young person, we can still see that internet hyping can be an extremely kind of a tricky and that needs considerable kind of assessment and to make it realistic. Now, think about the locality, which has been so well protected. I mean, being kind of like a Shangri-La outside the rest of the Chinese province. But once tourism or tourists poured in, I mean, the influx of this very huge number of tourists may cause damaging effect on the local inhabitancy and perhaps the general ecosystem if this very thing happened. And so I would caution the local government in terms of protecting your locality, protecting your ecology at the same time. In a sense, encourage such a small group of tourists instead of this kind of a large and overflowing influx into this very region. I echo Mr. Zhang's call for this very protection and caution. Do not just consider economic development as the top priority. I think, for example, once again, I mean, it doesn't call for one person's effort. It calls for a collective effort. The Chinese government has been inputting a lot in terms of providing clean drinking water, education, free education for these young kids. At one point, I do notice that this guy actually doesn't have very good education. He's in his early 20s, but he doesn't know that many Chinese characters. He can actually speak very limited Chinese. And so I would encourage infrastructure building, educate these young men, educate these kids, and protect their environment, and think in long term and make it sustainable.
Sustainable is the key word, I guess. On the other hand, what's going to happen to this guy? I mean, you know, he's nobody, quote unquote. Lovely young guy, herdsman, doing his work very well. He herds the cows and also herds the horses. He loved his hometown. He loved his parents and his brother. And they both his father and brother were there also in the promo, but nobody paid much attention to them but to Tamdrin. But what's going to happen to this young guy? As you said, Professor Tang, I mean, he's like early 20, didn't have much education, but certainly very good at heart. Meanwhile, now this is his overall, the sky falls with an opportunity. He's the face of the nation, probably in the international media too. So what's going to happen to this young guy, Professor Tang?
Well,
what's your advice?
Let him stay, well, absolutely. Let him stay put. I mean, stay put, stay where he is, and enjoy his own life. Don't be contaminated by this very commercial hyping and the commercial society around him. I mean, I would love to see him stay home, continue his education, continue his enjoyable kind of a fairy life out there in the clean air. I mean, enjoying the clean air, enjoy the prairie and all that stuff. I mean, don't just get himself involved in so much. I mean, there's such a kind of interesting push. I would say the kind of invisible hand of the market behind him. So be careful, young man. Stay where you are. Enjoy your life. Be with your parents. Don't stay away with your parents.
Mr. Zhang, Mr. Professor Tang has a lot of advice for Tamdrin. Of course, a lot of people who love him also want to support his growing process in a way by providing more advice. Having said that, though, you know, this is an interesting case study, isn't it, about where we are in China, probably also in certain parts of the world. On the one hand, there is quite a big divide between the urban and the rural areas. On the other hand, there is a great appreciation of diversity, but at the same time, there's also this sense of exotism, curiosity, that of course is part of the tourism. How do you see this mixed picture, mixed phenomenons and mixed feelings that we see certainly in this story?
Yeah, this is a very good question. I think that, you know, that I don't agree, you know, some of your points from Mr. Teng. For example, for Tamdrin should stay at home in hometown. You know that today actually Tamdrin already becomes to some extent a tourism ambassador for Litang, for Sichuan province. Meanwhile, this guy could be called, you know, a spokesman on Litang tourism sectors. So a lot of provinces are already inviting to travel over there. In this regard, I think that it would be possible for these young people to become new promoter for China's domestic tourism development, especially in the future. After we successfully controlled pandemic, I think that these guys maybe could be internationalized. I think this is a potential. But
Mr. Zhang certainly already becoming his agent in a way, looking at the bigger picture. So what's your point, Mr. Zhang?
The precondition, just very briefly, precondition is that these guys need to accept enough capacity building, education, skills, something like that. Meanwhile, I think that facing with this new phenomenon, it can stimulating us. We need to promote rural area and urban area to be integrated.
Now, gentlemen, we all know Sichuan province is a beautiful province, especially where the Tibetan herdsmen are. Beautiful prairie, beautiful scenery, wonderful air, and also lovely people there. On the other hand, the Tibet Autonomous Region also is a wonderful place that many have been dreaming about to travel, go there and look at the culture and to learn among different nationalities here in China. This is going to be a very interesting story. We hope the best of luck for Tamdrin and certainly for his hometown, Litang. But at the same time, let's all work better for this, for where they are and also for poverty alleviation. Really appreciate it. Zhang Jianping, Teng Jimeng, thank you. And that's all the time we have for today. If you'd like to see more, search World Insight. That's a program I host every night. And check out our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. I'm Tian Wei. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.